So let us start the today's session. In the last session, we have finished with the vapor power cycle. Okay. So as I told you, in this lecture, we'll be starting with the gas power cycle. Okay, we'll be starting with the new module, and that is gas power cycle. Okay, we'll be starting with the gas power cycle. Okay, so in the last lecture, we have finished vapor power cycle. Okay, so what is the difference between vapor power cycle and gas power cycle? Okay, in the vapor power cycle, we have used vapor as a working fluid so as to generate a power, right? So in this particular concept, we'll be using a gas, okay, so as to produce a power. Okay, so this is the only change. Okay, so in the last session, okay, we have seen the vapor power cycle and we are focused on the Rankine cycle. Okay, so in gas power cycle, okay, initially we'll be starting with the Otto cycle, followed by diesel cycle, then dual cycle. Okay, then all other cycles are also there, like Breton cycle, Stirling cycle, Ericsson cycle, Atkinson cycle, Linear cycle. Okay, so these cycles we will see progressing. Okay, so let us start first with the first cycle, and that is basically the Otto cycle. Okay, that is Otto cycle. Okay, so see Otto cycle. So as indicates Otto cycle, this Otto cycle, it's basically used in SI engine. SI engine are known as spark ignition engine. Okay, so this cycle it is used in spark ignition engine. Spark ignition engine. Okay, spark ignition engine. It is also known as the SI engine, right? And these are basically the petrol engines. Okay, spark ignition engines, they are SI engines, and these are basically the petrol engines. Okay, so we will say Otto cycle, how the petrol engines are basically work on an Otto cycle. Okay, so see Otto cycle we will start now. Okay, so see, if you need to understand any cycle, okay, whether it's auto or diesel or dual, you should be able to plot the PV and TS diagram. Okay, so in this chapter, for every cycle, simultaneously we will plot PV and TS diagram. Okay, so we'll start with the Otto cycle first. Okay, I will start with the PV diagram. Okay, so let us see, this is a pressure scale. Okay, this is a volume scale. Okay, and on the right hand side, I will draw the TS diagram. Okay, so on the right hand side, I will draw the TS diagram, PV diagram and TS diagram, right? So let us start with the Otto cycle. Okay, let us start with the Otto cycle. Okay, see first process. Okay, if you talk about the first process in the Otto cycle, okay, so let us take this point as 1. Okay, let us take this point as 1. Okay, so process 1 to 2. Okay, process 1 to 2. Okay, I will just write down process 1 to 2 here. Okay, okay, so see all of you. Okay, this is a process 1 to 2. Okay, process this is a process 1 to 2 which I plotted from on the PV diagram. Okay, I plotted this process 1 to 2 on a PV diagram basically for the Otto cycle. So can you tell me, okay, based on the nature of the curve, okay, can you predict which is the process 1 to 2, which is the process? Okay, see 1 to 2, which is the process? See, the 1 to 2, it can't be constant pressure, it can't be constant volume. If you want it to be constant pressure, it has to be a vertical line. If you want it to be a constant volume, it has to be a, see, if you want to be a constant pressure, it should be a horizontal line. If you want it to be a constant volume process, it has to be a vertical line, right? But it is not like that. Okay, 1 to 2, it's a curve, right? Okay, so if such is the process, it is necessary to write down the law on the process. Okay, so if you talk about the process 1 to 2, okay, 1 to 2, it is governed by law PV raised to power gamma is equal to C. Okay, PV raised to power gamma is equal to C. Okay, so this process 1 to 2, it is governed by law PV raised to power gamma is equal to C. It indicates that 1 to 2 process, it's isentropic process. See, this PV raised to power gamma is equal to C indicates that it's an isentropic process. Okay, so 1 to 2 is isentropic. 1 to 2 is isentropic. Okay, but isentropic process, it can be either expansion or it can be compression. Okay, so when we move from 1 to 2, what happens is during 1 to 2, okay, volume get decrease and pressure get increase, right? When we move from 1 to 2, what happens? Volume get decrease, pressure get increase, and such process it's called as compression. Such process it is called as compression. Okay, so when we talk about the process 1 to 2, when we talk about the process 1 to 2, obviously it's isentropic. Also known as adiabatic, right? Isentropic, it's also known as adiabatic process. See, 1 to 2, it's isentropic, or this is also known as adiabatic. Okay, isentropic, it is same as adiabatic. Okay, and what happens during 1 to 2? It's volume decreases and pressure increases as compression. Such pressure, it is process, it is called as compression. Such process is compression, right? Now let us move to the next process. Okay, let us move now to the next process. Okay, let us move to now process 2 to 3. Okay, let us see now the process 2 to 3. Okay, so now I will just draw process 2 to 3. Okay, so see all of you, 2 to 3 process. Okay, so this is a process 2 to 3. 2 to 3. The process 2 to 3 is what? It's a constant volume, right? Process 2 to 3, it's a constant volume process. Okay, the process 2 to 3, it's a constant volume process. I repeat, process number 2 to 3, it's a constant volume process. Okay, during which heat is supplied. Okay, so how much heat is supplied? During which QS amount of heat is supplied. Process 2 to 3, it's a constant volume process, and by keeping the volume constant, okay, we are adding the heat. Okay, we are adding the heat, and how much heat we are added? We are adding the heat equal to QS. Okay, so I'll just write down here, process 2 to 3, it's a constant volume. Okay, it's a constant volume heat addition. It's a constant volume heat addition. I repeat, see this 2 to 3, during 2 to 3, what happens is volume remains constant. Volume remains constant. Okay, and by keeping the volume constant, we are adding the heat. Okay, so it's a constant volume heat addition. Okay, so how much heat we are supplied? We are supplied heat equal to QS. Okay, now let us see the next process. Okay, let us see the next process. See, 2 to 3 is over. Okay, now what happens? Okay, so the next process 3 to 4 I need to plot, and it will be exactly reverse of 1 to 2. Okay, so 1 to 2, it's isentropic. Okay, 1 to 2 is isentropic, and that is compression. Okay, see, 1 to 2, it indicates, the law indicates that it's a isentropic. Okay, and this arrow indicates it's a compression. Okay, so I will plot the same process but exactly in a reverse direction. Okay, so what I will do is I will plot this process now. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, as you can see here, this process, okay, this process 3 to 4, okay, when you see this process, it is having same nature as 1 to 2. 1 to 2 was isentropic or adiabatic. Similarly, 3 to 4 is again, I will just write down the law, PV raised to power gamma is equal to C. Okay, again the same law is there. Okay, so I'll just write down this process 3 to 4, it's isentropic. Okay, or this is also known as adiabatic. Isentropic, or it is also known as adiabatic. Okay, see, isentropic or adiabatic, isentropic or adiabatic. Now see, this was compression, but what happens with the 3 to 4? Pressure decreases and volume increases. Pressure decreases, volume increases, and such process it is called as expansion. Such process it is called as expansion. See, I repeat, whenever you have such process, you are not able to discriminate. Okay, whether it's a which is the process. Okay, see, this 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, it's not a constant pressure or it's not constant volume, right? So how to determine? Because if it is not constant pressure, okay, if it is not constant volume, okay, then you have only 3 options. Okay, it can be either isothermal, it can be either adiabatic, or it can be either polytropic. Okay, see, 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, they are not constant pressure, they are not constant volume. Okay, if you want constant volume, it should be a vertical line. If you want constant pressure, it should be a horizontal line. But this is not the case with 122 or 324. So we have only three options, either isothermal or adiabatic or polytropic. Now see, if the law is only like this, PV is equal to C, if the law is PV is equal to C, it's a isothermal. If PV is equal to C, it's a isothermal. If PV raised to power gamma is C, gamma is equal to C, it's a adiabatic. Okay. And if we have the law PV raised to power N is equal to C, it's a polytropic. Okay. So based on the written law only, we'll be able to discriminate it. Okay. So law, it's required to be mentioned on the process. Okay. So we'll be able to understand the process. Okay. So this is applicable only for isothermal, adiabatic or polytropic. Okay. Because their nature will be somewhat same. Okay. If you plot both the processes, all the processes on a single initial and final point, in that case we'll be able to discriminate it. Okay. But if you plot a single process separately, okay, every process, if you plot it separately, and if you ask, okay, which is isothermal, which is adiabatic, and which is polytropic, okay, we are not able to discriminate it. Okay. So this is the case which I need to convey. Okay. So this 3 to 4, okay, its expansion occurs during 3 to 4, expansion occurs, and that expansion is either isentropic or adiabatic. Okay. Now see, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of isentropic? Okay. That means what? Entropy remains constant. Okay. So on this line, if you take at any point on this line, entropy is constant. That is, I will just write down here, S3 is equal to S4. S3 is equal to S4. That is, during this process, entropy is constant, right? Similar case is going to happen during this process. That is, S1 is equal to S2. S1 is equal to S2 because it's isentropic. See, isentropic. What is isentropic? It's a constant entropy. Isentropic is constant entropy. That is, during 1 to 2, entropy is constant. Similarly, during 3 to 4, entropy is constant. Okay, now let us move or let us see the next process. Okay, let us see the next process now. Okay, now when I move from 4 to 1, okay, so let us connect this 4 to 1. So 4 to 1, it is again reverse of 2 to 3. Okay, see, when you see 2 to 3, arrow is going upward. When you see 4 to 1, arrow is going downward. Okay, so 4 to 1 is reverse of 2 to 3. Okay, so see, I will write down 4 to 1, it is same as 2 to 3. Okay, so I'll write down it's a constant volume. I'll just write down that it's a constant volume. Okay, so during 4 to 1, what happens is volume is constant. During 4 to 1, when we see, okay, if you want, I'll just write down here only. Okay, so during 4 to 1, what happens? Volume is constant, that is V1 is equal to V4. Okay, volume is constant. That is V1 is equal to V4, right? It's a constant volume. Okay, it's a constant volume. Okay, but see, during 2 to 3, what we have done? We have supplied the heat. During 2 to 3, we have supplied the heat. During 4 to 1, okay, heat is rejected. During 4 to 1, heat is rejected. Is that okay? Okay, is that okay or not? Here only I'll just mention here. Okay, that V2 is equal to V2. Okay, so is it okay with this one? Have you understood? So it's a constant volume heat rejection. Constant volume heat rejection. Is that clear? Have you understood these processes? Constant volume heat rejection. Is it okay? All of you have understood the process? Yes, you can respond. Yes. Is it okay with the process? Have you understood the process? Okay. So now let us start with the now the TS diagram we need to plot, right? So what happens during 1 to 2? During 1 to 2, entropy is constant. Okay, during 1 to 2, entropy is constant. Okay, so when I plot it on a TS diagram, I will get a vertical line. Okay, so if I take the point number 1 here, okay, so point number 2, okay, will lie on the same vertical line of 1. Okay, so if you draw the vertical line, okay, from point number 1, so point number 2 is going to lie on that same line. Okay, it will lie on the same line. The reason is, okay, during 1 to 2, what happens is entropy is constant. Okay, so here S1 is equal to S2 I want. S1 is equal to S2 I want. Okay, so if you take point number 1 here,
Okay, so point number 2 might go above or it might go down. Okay, but it will be on a same vertical line as of point number 1, right? So this we need to check. So when we see point number, see process 1 to 2, so during 1 to 2 what happens is entropy is constant. Okay, and the working fluid get compressed, right? See, there is a compression. See, isentropic and compression. Okay, S1 is equal to S2 indicates it's isentropic. Arrow indicate it's a compression. Okay, so whenever there is compression, obviously what happens? Temperature increases. Okay, so that is the reason why from point number 1 I will move vertically upward. So I will reach it to point number 2. Okay, so see 1 to 2, during 1 to 2 entropy is constant, that is S1 is equal to S2. Okay, but what happens as we are compressing it? Okay, its temperature will increase. Okay, so this isentropic compression, that is S1 is equal to S2, it is conducted. Okay, but during which temperature will increase from 1 to 2. Is that okay? Say yes or no. Is that okay or not? Is it okay or not? Just let me know. Is it okay? Yes, you can respond. Is that okay? Okay. Is that okay, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now start with process 2 to 3. When we see process number 2 to 3, what happens? Okay, volume is held constant. When we move from 2 to 3, so during process 2 to 3, volume is held constant. Okay, so see on the TS diagram, okay, you will get one line that is passing through point number 2. Okay, you will get one line that is passing through point number 2. Okay, on which the volume is constant. Okay, so when you take volume at any point on this line, okay, volume will be held constant, that is V2 is equal to V3. Okay, I repeat. See, when we draw, okay, on the TS diagram, you will get one line that is passing through point number 2, okay, along which the volume is held constant. So we are moving on the same line. Okay, we are moving on the same line. So from point number 2, when I move to point number 3, along this line, what happens? The volume is held constant. Okay, see, there is one more possibility that from point number 2, you might go on the left hand side. Okay, you might go on the left hand side, right? But I'm not going on the left hand side. The reason is during 2 to 3, what happens? Okay, by keeping the volume constant, we are adding the heat. Okay, by keeping the volume constant, we are adding the heat. So see, okay, when we add the heat, what happens? Temperature will also increase and volume will entropy will also increase. So during 2 to 3, what happens? When I move on the right hand side, what happens? Temperature also increases and entropy also increases. That is the reason why I'm moving on the right hand side. If I move on the left hand side, what happens? Okay, temperature will decrease as well as entropy will decrease. Okay, so this I don't want. What I want, as I'm adding the heat, temperature as well as entropy should increase. Okay, so that okay, this is possible only when I move on the right hand side of the constant volume line, okay, which is passing through point number. Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Yes. Now let us check with point number, okay, process 3 to 4. Okay, what is 3 to 4? Okay, as I told you, it's a reverse of 1 to 2. 3 to 4 is a reverse of 1 to 2, right? So see what I will do, 3 to 4 is a reverse of 1 to 2. So 1 to 2 is going upward. So 3 to 4, obviously it will go downward. See what is 3 to 4? It's isentropic. So when I move from point number 3 to 4, entropy will remain constant. Okay, so there are two possibilities. Either I should move, okay, vertically down or I should move vertically up. Now see, whenever there is expansion, what happens? Temperature decreases. Okay, so obviously I need to move vertically down. So I will get this point as point number 4. See, I not move upward. See, when I move upward, whenever there is compression. When I move downward, because it's an expansion, right? So during 3 to 4, what happens? During 3 to 4, okay, entropy is constant. Okay, that is, okay, S3 is equal to S4. Okay, entropy is constant. Okay, but as it's an expansion, what happens? Temperature decreases. As it's an expansion, temperature decreases. Okay, now let us go to 4 to 1. Again, 4 to 1, it's a reverse of 2 to 3. Okay, so 2 to 3 was going upward. So 3 to 4 will go downward. Reason is during 4 to 1, what happens? Heat get rejected. Heat get rejected. Okay. So from point number 4, if you move vertically upward, what happens? What happens? The temperature will increase and entropy will also increase. Okay. And this is only possible when we add the heat. Okay. But what we want during 4 to 1, we want heat to be rejected. So when we reject the heat, okay, what happens is during this process 4 to 1, during this process 4 to 1, what happens? Volume is kept held constant. Okay. So see, you will get this line, okay, which is passing through point number 1, along which the volume is constant. Along which the volume is constant. Okay. So from point number 4, we will move on the left hand side. The reason is we are rejecting the heat, so temperature has to decrease and volume entropy also has to decrease. Okay. See, when we move from 4 to 1, we are rejecting the heat, right? So temperature as well as entropy has to be decreased. That's why we are moving down. Okay. See, from point number 4 also we can move upward. So if you move upward, what happens? Temperature increases as well as entropy increases. And this is only possible when we add the heat. Okay. And that is not expected in 4 to 1. In 4 to 1, we need to reject the heat. So temperature as well as entropy has to decrease. Is that okay? Okay. So this completes basically the TS diagram. Okay. Is that clear? Yes. Have you understood with the TS diagram? Yes. Have you understood this TS diagram and PV diagram? Okay. Now let us start calculating the efficiency of this cycle. Okay. So see how to calculate efficiency. Cycle, how to calculate? It is given by output by input. Okay. So efficiency is given by what net work is done upon what heat is supplied. Okay. Okay. What net work you are getting divided by how much heat is supplied. Now see, when we see the cycle, it's a cycle. Okay. So when we see a cycle, what first law of thermodynamics says? Okay. For a system undergoing an thermodynamic cycle, okay, net work transfer is equal to net heat transfer. Okay. So work transfer is equal to heat transfer. Okay. When the system executes a cycle. So when system executes a cycle, heat transfer is equal to work transfer, or work transfer is equal to heat transfer, right? So that is what is written. Now what is again net heat? Net heat is equal to heat supplied minus heat rejected, okay, upon heat supplied. See, what is net heat? Heat supplied minus heat rejected. Okay, so it will give rise to 1 minus heat rejected by heat supplied. Is that okay? So this is the formula for efficiency of Otto cycle. I will call this as equation number 1. See, efficiency of Otto cycle or any cycle or any device is given by output by input, right? So output, okay, that is net work upon heat supply. Now what is net work? It is equal to Q net upon heat supply. Okay, because see, this system executes a cycle. So whenever it's a cycle, okay, summation of heat transfer is equal to summation of work transfer. Okay, that is what the first law of thermodynamics says, right? So W net is equal to Q net upon heat supplied. Now what is net heat? It is equal to heat supplied minus heat rejected upon heat supplied. So it becomes 1 minus QR by QS, right? Now, okay, let us calculate the value of, okay, QS and QR. Now see, when we see QS, okay, so how to calculate QS? Okay, now how to calculate QS? Okay, how to calculate QS? Heat supplied. How to calculate QS? Okay, so see all of you, during process 2 to 3, if you see during process 2 to 3, heat is supplied at what? Constant volume. Okay, so whenever heat is supplied at a constant volume, formula is MCV. I repeat, during 2 to 3, heat is supplied at a constant volume. So formula is M into CV into change in temperature, that is final temperature minus initial temperature, that is T3 minus T2. Okay, during 2 to 3, how much heat is supplied? M into CV into T3 minus T2. Okay, so this is what amount of heat supplied, right? Similarly, we can calculate, okay, how much amount of heat is rejected during 4 to 1. Okay, so how to calculate? Okay, I'll just write down how to calculate heat rejected. Heat rejected is given by, again, heat is rejected during 4 to 1, and 4 to 1 it's a constant volume process. So formula is mCV, okay, into what? Final temperature is T1 minus initial temperature is T4. Okay, so this is T1 minus T4. So final temperature is T1 minus initial temperature is, okay, T4. Is that okay?
Well, can you repeat this step?
Yes. All of you see here, all of you. How to calculate heat supplied? Heat supplied we can calculate as, see, during which process heat it is supplied? During the process 2 to 3, heat it is supplied. During which process heat is supplied? During process 2 to 3, heat is supplied. And how much heat is supplied? How much heat is supplied? You see, QS amount of heat it is supplied. QS amount of heat it is supplied. See, during 2 to 3, QS amount of heat it is supplied. And heat is supplied at what? Constant volume. So when heat is supplied at a constant volume, what is the formula? M into CV. If heat is supplied at a constant pressure, formula is M into Cp. Okay, so M into Cv into T3 minus T2. All of you, obviously, T3 is greater than T2. I repeat, T3 is greater than T2. T3 is greater than T2. Okay, final minus initial. Because see, T3 is the temperature after heat addition. So obviously the temperature after the heat addition, it will be greater than the temperature before the heat addition. Okay, you can also see here, T3 is greater than T2. T3 is greater than T2, right? So this term you will get it as positive only. Okay, now let us check about this one. What I taken? I have taken final minus initial. Okay, T1 minus T4 I take. T1 minus T4 I take. That means what? I have taken lower minus higher. Lower minus higher. So this term I will get it as negative only. Negative. Okay. What is rejected? So instead of that, what I will do, as I am calling already this has been rejected, I will call this as T4 minus T1. I will call this as T4 minus T1. I repeat, because T3 is greater than T2, you can check it. T3 is greater than T2 and T4 is greater than T1. That's why I'm taking, okay, higher minus lower and not initial minus, sorry, final minus initial. Okay, see, T3 is greater than T2. That's why I taken T3 minus T2. Okay, here, when we see here, T4 is greater than T1. You can see here, T3 is greater than T2. T4 is greater than T1. That's why I taken T3 minus T2 and T4 minus T1. Right? Is that okay? Okay, now let us put this value in the equation of the Otto cycle. So efficiency of the Otto cycle is given by 1 minus what is QR? Just now we have written M into CV into T4 minus T1. Okay, upon what is QS? M into CV into T3 minus T2. Right? So what we'll get it equal to 1 minus T4 minus T1 upon T3 minus T2 on T3 minus T2. So let us call this as equation number. Let's call this as equation number. Is it okay, all of you? Yes. Is it okay? Yes. So this is equation number 2. So what do we want? We want the value of, okay, we want this value, see T1, T2, T3, T4. So what we'll do, okay, we will try to represent one temperature term in terms of other temperature. Okay, T1, okay, so we'll try to represent what, okay, temperatures like T2, T3 and T4 in the form of, okay, other. Okay, so let us see that. Okay, so, but before going to that, okay, try to understand, okay, there is a concept of compression ratio. Okay, this is very important. Compression ratio. Okay, this is very important term. Okay, and this will be useful throughout. Okay, this chapter. Compression ratio, it is indicated by RC. I repeat, compression ratio, it is indicated by RC. Compression ratio, it is indicated by RC. And compression ratio, it is given by, it is the ratio of volume before the compression, okay, to the volume after the compression. I repeat, it's a ratio of, see, 1 to 2, it's a compression. 1 to 2, it's a compression, right? So what is it? It says it is a ratio of volume before the compression to the volume after the compression. So obviously the value of compression ratio, okay, will be always greater than 1. Always greater than 1. You can see here, V1 is greater than V2, right? V1 is greater than V2. This V1 is greater than V2. Okay, so that's why RC will be always greater than 1, right? This is a simple concept called as compression ratio. It's the ratio of volume before the compression to the volume after the compression. Okay, so it's V1 by V2. Okay, there is one more ratio. Okay, it is called as expansion ratio. This is called as expansion ratio. Okay, and what this expansion ratio is? Expansion ratio, it is indicated by RE. Expansion ratio, it is indicated by RE. Okay, RE, I repeat, see, this is RE. Expansion ratio. Expansion ratio, it is indicated by RE. Okay, what is expansion ratio? Okay, see, expansion ratio, it's a ratio of volume after the expansion to the volume before the expansion. Okay, I repeat, so it's basically V4 by V3. See, what is expansion ratio? Expansion ratio, it's a volume after the expansion to the volume before the expansion. Okay, so it's V4 by V. Is it okay? Okay, so obviously you will get the expansion ratio greater than 1. See, if you see 1 and 2, okay, obviously 1 is greater than 2. Okay, 1 is greater than 2. See, volume at point number 1 is greater than volume at point number 2. You can see volume at point number 1 is V1, volume at point number 2 is V2. Okay, so we are taking V1 by V2 as a compression ratio. Okay, because this is for 1 to 2. For the process 1 to 2 is a compression. So when we take 1 to 2, okay, V1 by V2, it's a compression ratio. Now let us go to 3 to 4. Let us go to 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 is expansion. 3 to 4 is expansion. Okay, when we see volume V4 is greater than volume V3. Okay, volume V4 is greater than volume V3. Okay, V4 is greater than V3. Okay, so that's why we will take V4 by V3. Okay, whichever is greater, we will take it in numerator. Okay, so V4 by V3, and V4 by V3, it is for expansion. That's why it's called as expansion ratio. So expansion ratio is V4 by V3. I repeat, see, this is before to the after, this is before to the after, and this is after to the before. Okay, so this is what the expansion ratio is. Is it okay? Okay, but when we see both the formula, okay, RC is V1 by V2 and RE is V4 by V3. Okay, now when you see what is V1, V1 is equal to V4, and what is V2? V2 is equal to V3. That means, okay, RC is equal to RE. Okay, this is very important. Okay, compression ratio is equal to expansion ratio. Okay, and this is applicable only for Otto cycle. This is applicable only for Otto cycle. So in case of an Otto cycle, compression ratio and expansion ratio, they are 1 and 0. Okay, in case of an Otto cycle, compression ratio and expansion ratio, they are 1 and 0. Okay, so is that okay with this one? Yes. Is it okay? Is it okay? Okay, can we move to the next point? Now see, as I told you, okay, we want to represent these temperatures. Okay, so what we'll do, okay, we will try to T3 in terms of T1. Okay, we'll try to represent T2, T3. Okay, we'll try to represent this variable. We'll try to represent T2 in terms of, let's say, T3, or T3 in terms of T2. Likewise, we will do. Okay, so as to eliminate some of the temperature terms. Okay, now see, when we see the process 1 to 2. Okay, when we see the process 1 to 2, the process 1 to 2. Okay, it's a isentropic compression. Okay, so whenever it's a isentropic compression, we can write down the law as T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to power gamma minus 1 by gamma is equal to V1 by V2 raised to power gamma minus 1. See, this we have seen in the first chapter. Because it's a isentropic, so I can write down the law T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to power gamma minus 1 by gamma is equal to V1 by V2 raised to power gamma minus 1. Okay, this is applicable only for isentropic process or adiabatic process. Okay, so now what I will do, I will just equate these two. Okay, I will just equate these two. So when I equate these two, okay, I will get the value of T2 as Okay, so when I equate, okay, see here, T2 is equal to T1. See, I will equate these two. So what is the value of T2? T2 is equal to T1 will go on the right hand side. T1 into what is V1 by V2? See, V1 by V2 is RC. So this is RC raised to power gamma minus 2. It's a RC raised to power gamma minus 2. Okay, so see this all of it. See, V1 by V2 is RC. V1 by V2 is RC. Okay, raised to power gamma minus 2. Right? Now see. So what value of T2 I written? I have written T2 as, I have written T2 in terms of T1. I written T2 in terms of T1. This is the only thing I done. Okay, now I will see as like 1 to 2, as like 1 to 2. I will also write down for 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Okay, so let us write down for 3 to 4. Okay, so for 3 to 4, I will write down like this. Okay, T4 by T3. Okay, again, final by initial. See, I'm writing for 3 to 4. I'm writing for 3 to 4. So T4 by T3 is equal to P4 by P3, P4 by P3 raised to power gamma minus 1 by gamma is equal to V3 by V4, V3 by V4 raised to power gamma minus 1. Okay. Same like final by initial, final by initial, initial by final. See, final by initial, final by initial, initial by final. I written for 3 to 4. See, both 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, they are isentropic. So we'll be able to write down such equations. Right? Now, here also, in this equation, what I will do, I will equate these two terms. I will equate these two terms. Okay, I will equate these two terms. Okay, and now in this equation, what I will do is, okay, I will just try to get the value. Okay, so see all of it. See here. Okay, let's see all of you. Okay, now let us calculate the value of, okay, see all of you see here, T4 by T3 I will write down. T4 by T3, T4 by T3 is given by, T4 by T3 is given by, see here all of you, T4 by T3 is given by, I will equate now this. Okay, what is V3 by V4? See here, what is V3 by V4? See, V4 by V3 is RE. V4 by V3 is RE, right? So what is V3 by V4? It's 1 by RE, right? It's 1 by RE. 1 by RE. 1 by RE, okay, raised to power gamma minus 1, right? 1 by RE raised to power gamma minus 1, right? So is equal to, I will just write down one more step, is equal to 1 by, now what is RE? What is RE? Just now we have seen RE is nothing but RC, right? Expansion ratio is a compression ratio. So RC raised to power gamma minus, right? RC raised to power gamma, right? Now see what I will do. I will just bring this term here. And I will just, okay, T3 I will bring it on the right hand side. Okay, and this term I will bring it on the left hand side. Okay, so what I will get here is, see here what I will get, T3 I will bring it on right hand side, and this term I will bring it on left hand side. Okay, so what I will get is, I will get T3 is equal to, okay, see here, T3 is equal to T4 into RC raised to power gamma minus 1. See here, I repeat. See, T3, what is the value of T3 if you bring it on right hand side? So T3, okay, T3 you bring it on right hand side, everything you bring it on left hand side. So when you bring this term 1 by RC raised to power gamma minus 1 on the left hand side, it becomes what? Okay, RC divided by 1 raised to power gamma minus 1, right? RC divided by 1 raised to power gamma minus 1. So RC divided by gamma, RC divided by 1. See, if you want me to do that, I will also do that. So I will just write down here T4 into RC divided by 1, okay, raised to power gamma minus 1, okay, is equal to T3. I will just write down is equal to T3. Okay. So this is what we got. Right? See, this term I bring it here, this term I bring it here. So that is what I get. And same I written here, T3 is equal to T4 into RC raised to power gamma minus. Is that okay? So let us call, this is some equation. Let us call this as equation number 3. Let us call this as equation number 4. Okay. Now what we have T2 in terms of T1, we have T3 in terms of T4. Let us put it here. Okay. So I will just write down here, putting equation 3 and 4 in equation 2. We'll put that into equation number 2. So what efficiency of Otto cycle I will get? Efficiency of Otto cycle is given by, see this, 1 minus T4. 1 minus T4. Okay, I'll just write down here only 1 minus T4. 1 minus T4 minus, okay, minus T1. 1 minus T4 minus T1. I just written those terms as it is. T4 minus T1 I written as it is. Divided by what is T3 we got? T3 we got it as this value, right? So T3 is T4 into RC raised to power gamma minus 1. Okay, T3 is what? T3 is T4 into RC raised to power gamma minus 1. That is what is written. And you can see. Value of T3 I have written. T3 is, what is T3? T3 is RC, sorry, T4 into RC raised to power gamma minus 1. This value I written. Okay. Minus, see this minus I have written, minus what? Minus T2. What is T2? It is here only. Okay. That is T1 into RC raised to power gamma minus 1. T1 into RC raised to power gamma. See what I done in this equation, T4 minus T1 I kept it as it is. Then in the denominator I substituted the value of T3 and T2. Okay, the value of T3 and T2 I have put. Right. Now let us solve this one. So what we'll get? We'll get 1 minus, okay, in the numerator T4 minus T1 is already there. In the denominator also, what we'll do, okay, all of you, when we take RC minus 1, RC raised to power gamma minus 1 common, what is remaining? T4 minus T1 is remaining, right? What is remaining is T4 minus T1. We will take RC raised to power gamma minus 1 common. So remaining is T4 minus T1. So what happens? This gets cancelled. And remaining is 1 minus 1 upon RC raised to power gamma minus 1. Okay. So this is the formula for efficiency of Otto cycle. What is the formula for efficiency of Otto cycle? Efficiency of Otto cycle, okay, formula is given by 1 minus 1 upon RC raised to power gamma minus 1. Okay. And what is the RC? RC, it is already RC, you can equate it to RE. See, RC is a compression ratio, and RC that is compression ratio. It is same as RE. What is RE? It's expansion ratio. So both compression and expansion ratio are same. So you can have this formula like 1 minus 1 upon RE raised to power gamma minus 1, right? RE raised to power gamma minus 1, because both are 1 and same. Okay. So can anybody can let me know from what you can conclude from this equation? Okay, what you can conclude from this equation? Yes. Anybody? Can you tell me what you can conclude from this equation? Yes. See, when we see this formula, what does it indicate? Efficiency of Otto cycle only depends upon compression ratio. Okay. So efficiency of Otto cycle only depends upon what? It does not depend upon how much heat you have supplied, how much heat is rejected, what are the temperatures T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay. So it does not depend upon all those properties. Okay. It only depends upon what? It only depends upon compression ratio. So if you know the compression ratio, okay, then you can use this formula directly so as to get the efficiency of Otto cycle. So is that okay, all of you? Okay, so here I will mention the efficiency of Otto cycle. Efficiency of Otto cycle depends
depends only on compression ratio. Depends only on compression ratio. Efficiency of Otto cycle depends only on compression ratio. Is that clear, all of you? Is that clear? Yes. Is that clear? Yes. All of you, is it okay? Or still is there any doubt you're facing? Just let me know. Okay. So see, if there is no any question, okay, we can conclude the today's session. And in the next session, we'll be starting with the diesel cycle followed by dual cycle.